Hey guys, how's it going? Alright, we'll wait for a few more people. We're getting ready. It's 10 o'clock on the dot. And yes, I have been sitting here for about a half hour just anticipating this. Don't ask. I'm excited. I have so much to show today. So I did look into the Rule GG lit market trades, guys. You might have to send me some links that you want me to look into, because they're hiding that more than I can even, like, me and Drew both were looking into it, and like I found what I found, but it wasn't much, right? But I did say I would look into it and see what I saw. The only thing I could really find was back in June. So yeah, we'll start off with that tonight. Okay, cool. Gio, hope you are well. Thank you. No, today's been good. Went for a good walk, sat outside today. No, it's been a good day. I'm feeling good. So I have no idea if our crickets are coming through. So someone in the chat, like, we have crickets for our chameleon. So if they're coming through, let me know. And I can, have them moved. But yeah, no. So, all right, we have the lit trade market discussion. We have more stuff on the housing bubble, because there's been a few people that I like to watch, and they're bringing out information which makes me dig a little bit deeper. And so I have stuff for like Australia, I have stuff for here, general stuff about it. We do have some stuff to talk about with COVID. Oh Lord, here we go. Don't worry, it's nothing too controversial. I back it up with what I see. Okay. And then I do have a couple things that are coming out of California, laws and stuff, that I find very interesting. And so this is something that if anybody ever finds laws or anything that you want me to look into, just send them over to me, Bullhouse or my own personal Twitter, just so that if there is any kind of, misinformation floating around. And the biggest thing I use is here in my home state for Florida is the parental rights bill, and that literally gives the right for our students, K through third grade, to not have sexual content in the classroom, right? Like, you're not allowed to really talk to anyone third grade and under about all this stuff. And it was all blown up and everything else about don't say gay and all this other stuff. Like, guys, this is what happens. So this is why I'm here, right? This is why I'm here, is to bring this kind of stuff to awareness of, and breaking it down to where it's like, no, this isn't what it says. This is, we actually have to read this. Like, you read the bills, you read what's going on, because how one side or the other will portray it is totally off, right? So Jackson, audio is good. Awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you. All right, so we will get into this now. All right, so that's a little fun thing I have for you guys later. All right, so Gary Gensler. So this dated back to June, that he was talking about this plan would require trading firms to directly compete to execute trades from retail investors to boost competition. Gensler said that the new SEC rule would mandate market makers disclose more data around the fees that these firms earn and the timely my reading is so off today. Timing of trades for the benefit of the investors. And so really, it's just, it's more of the same. I've been like, anyone that's been around me for, 2 years knows that I've been tracking all this stuff with the SEC guys. They've done a lot of different moves and a lot of different shakeups. And this is just more of the same. We've had a couple of these from what I was reading, through what he was saying. We've had a few of these different SEC mandates, and you can't use the dark pools, you have to go through the lit exchange, you have to go through this and this and this. They find ways around it, they find loopholes and everything else. So given the fact that this was back in June, and I have looked through all of the different SEC proposed rules, final rules, interim final rules, and there's really nothing in here about it. I can go all the way back to June, even, like, because there's nothing in May, which would have been what I would have thought it would be here. Unless I'm totally missing something. but I was not able to actually find anything that he actually did. So we have just all these different things. We do have this competition of the two SECs. This is something that Drew found. I'm not reading all of this because it's just kind of like a discussion. Quite literally somebody having a discussion about all this and like just talking. So I'll post these for you guys to read through. There's not much behind it at all. Not at least in my opinion. They just more hot air. But these are back in April. So if anything of these had come to, fruition, if they had already passed it or anything like that, we would have already seen those effects, right? So we would have already seen anything from that taking effect. So I would not personally look any further with these. I mean, they might be doing something more towards the end of, now that we're, in the fourth quarter, or I should say going into October, November. Yeah, no, we are. Going into, being in the fourth quarter, they might be pushing a few other things, but I personally do not see a lot of stuff happening right now. I mean, I had a lot of high hopes. I'm not going to lie. I had a lot of high hopes for Gary Gensler, and he's just kind of, there's not been a lot that's been going on with him. So, it's interesting that he's trying, or at least he makes it look like he's trying. But I think it's more or less that we've put, us as retail investors, the small guy, we've put so much pressure on the fair exchange and, just calling out the corruption, which, guys, awesome, that, they have to do something, right? Like, it's been that kind of pressure. So that's what I really have for this. If you have something more for me, something more substantial, because I mean, like I said, I'm deep into the actual exchange here, trying to find which rule you want me to look into. Shoot it over to me. Cool. All right. So next we're going to be touching on housing market. All right. So I do know we have some people in Australia. And RBA predicts 20% housing drop. I mean, this is by 2024. Prices in Sydney are likely to drop 1.5% a month for the rest of 2022. 11% by 2023. So this is, if you're in Australia, I would love to hear what you have to say about your housing market. Because it has been, if there's three markets that I like to watch for housing, it's, the US, Canada, Australia, right? A little bit of UK, but because of the wars going on, UK is a little bit funny to watch right now. And then obviously like China would be thing, but China's markets, they're insane to watch right now. So the three that I'm really watching for housing are the US, Canada, and Australia, and kind of seeing how they all work together or if they're going to diverge, because we all are so very close with trades and things like that. So having those connections would be very interesting to see if the economies suffer the same fate in a sense. So Australia, you are looking at a 20% decrease in housing possibly by 2024. But then we also have the US looking to do the same thing, but by 2023. Go away. Yeah. I'll fix it this time. Thank you. So yeah, as we talked about on Monday, prices have slumped. And this was done here. Mortgage rates have more than doubled this year. The average rate on a typical 30-year, and they're saying it's a 6.94% from a 3.2% January. The average 15-year is now at 6.23 compared to a 2.33 a year ago. Hey, Aaron, what's going on? So yeah, this is even saying we're even closer to that 7-point mark, which is insane. Higher interest rates combined with the elevated house price have put cost of a home out of reach for many potential buyers, as we know. And so it's a little interesting. The median home sale price rose 384,800 in September, up 8.4%. That's drastic. That is drastic. And so the fact that they are falling, as like they're just in free fall now, as well as rental rates. I want you guys to kind of keep an eye on your rental rates, because so we rent right now, right? It's a big corporation, and what I think is going to be happening soon is that, you know, there was a lot of acquisitions. A lot of big corporate companies were acquiring other smaller companies. And so what ends up happening is that they buy all these houses. Well, for instance, our house, it's good, you know, to meet the standards of the company that we now rent from, they're going to have to go through and do a complete remodel of it, in the sense of, like, they make all of their houses smart houses. They replace everything. And so that's a big undertaking for so many of these houses that were built in the 80s, right? And so what's happening is either they're offloading these houses, which we've now seen, you know, some of them wanting to do, they're offloading them, or they're putting these prices of rent so high that now they're slashing rent. And I believe there's an article or a video, I can't remember now, Nevada, someone had said that they saw rent was like $2,900 on one of the places that they were going to rent, or they were looking to rent. It was $2,900, and within like a month it slashed to $1,000 and is now $1,900. So it is so incredible. I believe I'm hearing a lot of people calling it a double barrel bubble, basically. The double barrel housing market is just plummeting. So it's one for the ages. Okay. We talked about this. It's nothing to be afraid of. Like, right? Let's not be afraid of this. We're ahead of it. We know it. We've known it since last year. We knew what was coming, right? So that there's no cause to be alarmed and afraid. Just be prepared, right? And so, you know, this is when we need to start looking at commodities. What kind of commodities, tangible items, can we be investing in and getting into and keeping to ourselves that, you know, we can use for trade or anything like that? Like I said last year, land, gold, silver, anything like that, brass. These are the things that we need to be really looking into to sustain, right, through the recession, through the depression, really, because they're not talking about this. They won't talk about this until it's too late. Let's just face that fact. Jose, how long? Hey, long time since I've heard from you, Kenna. Happy to see you. Welcome back, Jose. Thank you. I think what I saw was proposed, or could be talked about, a proposal. I shall take more links for you now. Thanks for what you looked into. Not a problem, Jackson. Not a problem. Yeah, if you find something, let me just send it over to me for sure. I will, again, any of these links that you guys are seeing that I'm clicking on, they'll be down in the description. Okay. Are there some cities that could hold up better? So I have, that was a tab I wanted to bring up. There are cities, and I will do this off screen so I can find the map. There are cities and states that will fare well through this. Okay, so let me, all right, let me get this real quick. One of them is Florida, which is funny. This is really funny. This is a funny thing because, Florida will also be one of the hardest hit with housing because they boomed our market so fast. Sorry, I can't type and talk at the same time. Start stocking up on silver. Pretty cheap right now. Alcohol as well. Yep, right. Let's see. Top states. let's go. All right, is this the list that I found? Okay, so this one actually has Florida in the bottom. Well, that might be this might be the updated thing because of the housing. Let's see. So I will probably be, this will not be fun for me. I'm just kidding. All right, so let me pull this over. All right, there we go.
Home is where the squeeze is.
Quiet you. All right, here we go. So Merchant Maverick, it's a good, I do really like how they do stuff. And I will try to see if I can find another list. Maybe it was a video. I will find that. Maybe it was a YouTube video. It might have been a YouTube video. And I will find that and I will post it in the description for you guys. Yeah. So top states most likely survive recession in 2022. So this was posted on April 11th. So yeah, this isn't taking into account the housing market at the current moment. But yeah, Nebraska. I don't know many people. Actually, I take that back. My grandfather was from Nebraska. But other than that, I actually don't know many people from Nebraska, which is interesting. It seems gorgeous, but I really just don't know. North Dakota, we've actually considered North Dakota. North Dakota seems very cool, but it seems very freaking cold too. North Dakota, you know, I need to go visit this before I ever say yes, I'm going to move to this place. Minnesota, you gotta love Minnesota. Love the accents, love the the people I've actually gotten to talk to that are from there. It's it's a fun place. Delaware. Delaware. I don't think I could live in a state that is that small, but their economy is great. Delaware has always been one of the top states to live in for their economy. If you like snow, if you like fast talkers, a lot of New Englanders talk very, very, very fast. It's a fun place. It's Delaware wouldn't be bad, but I am not dealing with the amount of snow that they get. This girl's been in Florida way too long to deal with that much snow. West Virginia, actually we considered West Virginia recently. I actually just drove through West Virginia. It's beautiful. So if I have anyone from West Virginia, man, your state is gorgeous. I'm really enjoying the idea of the country life, right? North Dakota. As you guys know, I live in Tampa Bay. And fun fact, when we moved here, pre-pandemic, we moved here in 2019, we had 2.1 million people living here in the Tampa Bay metro area. We're 3 million some odd now. So we've had a very, very big boom in amount of people that live here in a very short amount of time. And it definitely shows. It used to take, to get down to the, better beaches, it would take half hour, 45 minutes. It's now taking an hour and a half to get down to these beautiful beaches that, that's why we moved down to this way. If we wanted to, go to the beach and stuff. So it's, there's a lot of people that have moved to this area. And so I'm more compelled to be in the country areas because it's, less people, less chances of, craziness. I don't like being stacked on top of one another. It's just not my style. It's just, I want room to walk and everything else. So, West Virginia, definitely, it was just the mountains. I haven't seen mountains since I went out to California in 2019. So it's just nice to see mountains again. Oklahoma, I'm sorry guys, if you have to pay people to move there, if it's one of these states that you have to pay people to move there, or it's so cheap because your house gets demolished by tornadoes, I can't do it personally. Some people, they don't mind that, but I lived in Tornado Alley. So, but no, Oklahoma, it'll survive, it'll do fine. Their economy is doing great. They do great. They have great things going on in Oklahoma. I just trash on it because I'm not about tornadoes like that. I'm sorry. Jersey. New Jersey, another New England state. For those that don't know, surprisingly, there are people from the states that actually don't know where some of these states are, which is sad. Guys, get a map. But yeah, another New England state, another small state. Coastal, pretty. It'll survive. It's not bad. It is actually one of the wealthiest states, if not the wealthiest state. Texas, obviously. Texas is going to do some great things. Texas is doing great things. They have, I mean, Texas, for those of you that aren't from the states, Texas used to actually be its own country. Like, Texas is large, like, it's massive. Like, this state is massive. It is actually bigger than California. It's 5 times the size of my own state. So the land mass alone of this state is huge. So no, they will survive. They have enough people. They have an awesome governor over there. I know that's political. I'm sorry. Some people don't like them. I know. I'm sorry. But they are doing some great things in Texas. Wisconsin, love it. Wisconsin's beautiful. Been there. Illinois, it's a neighboring state to my home state. Illinois, I actually disagree with this one. I actually disagree with Illinois being a state to actually make it through a recession. They actually have the highest debt. Illinois is actually the most in debt state out of the union. So I actually disagree with this one. I'm gonna rule this one out. It's a great state. I mean, it's not. It's pretty. Got Chicago. I mean, I guess if you want to go do that thing. But yeah, no, I disagree with this one. I'm gonna have to disagree. Bottom states. All right, we got Florida, Mississippi, Arkansas, Kentucky, Maine, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, and Idaho. I don't know. Hawaii, I could see. Oh, and Hawaii down here. And guys, Hawaii is not off the coast of Texas. I'm just gonna point that out for those that don't know. But yeah, so according to this, they're saying these are the states that won't make it. Like I said, I will probably bring up the video too, so we can have all the different information about it. So if there is a state, I will post this that you would like to see. You can see your own rankings and everything on where you live. All right, so there's that. Florida. So this should have been a precursor to this. What do you think of Oregon? Oof, Oregon. Okay, I'm gonna preface this. There are amazing things happening out west. Okay, you never get me wrong about that. Like, I think certain policies that California, Washington, Oregon, Nevada, Arizona, like Utah, any of these states do. There's certain policies that I think are incredible, but I also think that it's very politicized, and it very much takes away from that. So like everything, like I'm watching what's going on in Portland, San Francisco, LA. Yes, I'm sorry, Drew. That was Bandit drinking water. It was so loud. I apologize, guys. Yes, my dog was drinking water. Guys, I need an office. I do. But no, so Oregon. I mean, guys, the fact that they have so much natural medicine. Like, I applaud Oregon for that, and the fact that people can grow their own medicine, grow their food. This is something that I was actually just talking about is with like Tyler and Drew and everybody, is that being able to grow your own medicine, grow your own food, if you can collect rainwater and you have mineral rights, like if your states or counties, cities allow mineral rights, that's the hobby. Those are the states that I would look for, right? If they allow all of that, especially if they allow you to collect rainwater and you have mineral rights. Those are two crucial things that, in my opinion, to have as a basis for your state or you yourself and within your state surviving this, right? So, you have to be able, if you can actually drill for water, oil, minerals, whatever the case may be, and being able to collect rainwater. Like, it sounds silly, right? It sounds so silly, but there are places around the world and then within the United States that you cannot legally collect rainwater. Like, it's against the law. I think that's so stupid. I think that is completely asinine. Like, I can't fathom the fact that, something that literally is falling from the sky, that is on Earth, that you cannot collect. So, Oregon, if they can figure out the craziness in Portland, I do think they have a chance. But what's kind of happened there and what's happening in San Francisco and LA and all these other, like, we're starting to actually see a lot of homeless areas in Florida. Hawaii's always had a big problem with it. Seattle's having a big problem with it. If these kinds of things act as kind of like a I don't want to say a disease, but it just spreads, right? And, it just, people that, especially with the whole fentanyl thing, with the whole fentanyl crisis going on right now, I don't know if you guys have been really keeping up with that. This was not a topic I planned on talking about tonight, but the whole important, fentanyl being imported into the States, look up in Philly. It's just, I try not to watch too much of it because it is just so disheartening. Like, we've had, and for those, I actually had to ask Tyler, and, so I could understand more, because, you can read and read and read about what it is, but I was just like, break it down in simplest terms. Fentanyl, and he's like, it's an opioid. Okay, so, think of all the opioid wars and everything else like that. All the, we have laws all over the country where you cannot be prescribed pain medicine, Vicodin, Oxy, things like that, because of this. And now people are ODing on fentanyl, which is just a super powered version of any of that, right? It's, it's just insane. And so we have all of this going on. And what I was seeing in, which state was it? Was it down in LA? San Francisco? Might have been in San Francisco. Kind of where, like, the whole defund the police and all this other stuff has happened. They can't actually do anything about it. They cannot do anything. They can write citations, but if they, this video was of a guy who OD'd on a sidewalk, and I'm not going to play it. I will not play it because it is too much. If you want to go find it, you now know what it's about. But it was a woman reporter. She was just doing, a live broadcast, and a guy started ODing, and the police were just like, we can ask him if he wants to go to the hospital. We can ask him if he's okay. If we can write him a citation, but they can't lock him up. They can't arrest him. They can't do any of this. And so it just continues, right? It just is a never-ending cycle of it. So it's there's a lot of stuff going on in the world and in just our country that people aren't talking about, and this is why we need to do this. Is, we have this epidemic, I guess you could say. It's not a pandemic, it's an epidemic, with the fentanyl, with the homelessness. And the homelessness is going to get worse because, as you can now see, Florida is 6th in the nation for foreclosure rates. People are going to lose their homes. Jobs are not producing as fast, aren't being able to be produced as fast. And actually companies are laying off. I think I just saw Amazon and Exola and a few others. There's big companies that have been around forever are laying people off. And who knows, now that Elon has Twitter, right? I'm kind of excited about this, but at the same time, who knows what's actually going to happen with Twitter? Because then I also just saw that Boss Blunts posted that Twitter is being taken off the stock exchange, right? It's a private company now. So this is going to start changing how things are done. And so, we could see either more jobs created or lost over this. So it's a whole big thing that we have to, look at each domino piece, and watch what's happening with each one of them. And so, yeah, it's, there's a lot of moving pieces with this. So yeah, out west, depending on how the politicians play it, I think after this election, I think we'll know really like which hands they're going to play. I think Oregon overall will be okay. Washington should be okay. But the other thing to factor in is cost of living. I know Oregon's not the worst out of the three on the West Coast. Just start learning how to cut your costs, whether that's, solar energy, having a well, growing your own food, building a house. I mean, just all these things, right? And so this is actually, it's a good little segue into my question here. For those that are wanting to answer, and I've been posting this up on Twitter. I want to do a segment soon about an indoor garden, right? I'm wondering what people eat. It's a funny question, right? What do you eat? And no, you guys have to understand that food does not just grow in the grocery stores. Believe it or not, and I say that because there are YouTube videos of people believing that food just pops into the grocery stores. I think we need to get back down to grassroots of how food is made, where food comes from, because this is a very interesting thing to see, is that people don't know where food comes from. So whether it's potatoes, carrots, peas, lettuce, spinach, I mean anything that you guys would like to see grown. I want to kind of start getting this together. I'm trying to do these polls to see what's the most popular things. I have had somebody say rice, which is really interesting because I would really love to learn how to grow rice, because rice is a really fascinating plant to grow. But wheat, breads and stuff. So soy products, whatever the case may be. So if you guys want to answer that question in the comments down below, it'd be awesome. Just so I can kind of start getting a segue on it. So, and I have a reason for this, and I will show you at the end. So you will have to see that. All right. So we do have, again, U.S. foreclosures start reaching pre-pandemic levels. So again, we're not scared of this. Why are we not scared of this? Because we've been preparing for it. We are able to, once, what they say, buy the dip, right? Well, when the housing market dips, instead of BlackRock, ripped all the snow crabs. Aww. The dip of the housing market. Don't let the banks and everyone buy them up. We need these houses and stuff in the individual owners' hands. That's what we need. Okay. So, we've been buying the dip on the stock market. We're going to buy the dip on the real estate market because it's going to be so massive. All right. We're going to switch gears. For those that don't know, COVID was a thing. Apparently, according to Biden, COVID pandemic is done. As everybody knows, everything in this entire podcast, anything I ever say is my opinion, what I see, how I feel about it. I found this very interesting. And my biggest question is why. Okay, we had COVID. We had COVID happen. COVID was a thing. Many people died for one reason or another. I'm not getting into it. We're not gonna bicker about it. We're not gonna fight about it. People lost their lives. Period. Okay. But tell me why. Up in Boston, scientists are messing with the virus. They are merging the Omicron virus with the regular virus, and it has it's killed 80% of the mice. I'm really trying to understand this. Wait, what? I really want to know why. Anon's corporate motto, ask why, right? No, I mean 100%. I need to. Oh. Musk tells Twitter employees. Okay, so this is just from. Thank you, Social Air. Thank you, Chris. Elon Musk told Twitter Inc. employees on Wednesday that he doesn't plan to cut 75% of the staff when he takes over the company, according to people familiar with the matter. Musk, whose $44 billion deal for Twitter is on track to close Friday, denied the previous report number in an address to employees. Now, do we believe this? Stop doxing my lab in Boston. You know what? I'm just kidding. But no, like this. Okay, so our community doctor. Okay, for those of you that don't know, Citadel Air. It not only is a plane, but he also, the plane can practice medicine. Why? Right? Like, okay, from my understanding, from everything I've looked into this, they've taken the original virus and they have played with it, and with the Omicron virus, they've merged the two. And it's like, the last time I checked, gain of function is not allowed. Correct me if I'm wrong, but gain of function is not allowed. And it's happening in Boston. This is why Fauci was in so much trouble, because the NHA sent money to the Wuhan lab where they were practicing gain of function testing. And he was like, no, it wasn't gain of function, So if anybody can answer this one, I would love to know it, because why are we playing with it? Why are we playing with it? And I dare anybody to say, oh, so we can make better vaccines. No. Sorry, the NIH, not the NHA. Sorry, stupid slip of the tongue. NIH. Actually here. Doesn't this work violate NIH policies? NIH director said neither NIH or NI have ever approved any grant that would have supported gain of function research. Yeah, right? Like, you're not. This makes me so mad. Gain of function is subjective. Usually we move that quietly offshore. Quietly. So I don't know. Guys, this is. So if we have a new outbreak, you know where this came from. Do not let them lie to you. Do not let them BS us. Because this is. We have, and again, furthermore, we have no idea how this virus will behave in humans. Imagine that. So, with that being said, and this is why I provide my proof. Yes, these are my opinions. These are my opinions, and how I feel about this is that it's completely asinine. I have the reports of where this is coming from, right? So then we go to the fact that all of 2020, 2021, when the what's came out, they were like, oh, it's going to stop the transmission. It's going to stop. It's going to, you have to get these. You are a terrible person. Guys, I am still not vaccinated. I am not a vaccinated person because of my own health stuff, right? That was a choice I made, but I have been severely criticized for this option. For how I feel and how I am about this. And so the fact that it was a year or so of just criticism, and I'm like that constantly telling everyone, like, it doesn't stop the transmission. It reduces the effects. It reduces the effect of it, but it does not stop you from giving it or getting it. Doesn't do it, right? So, no matter how much pushback I got. So then this comes out, which is interesting. I don't know if anybody's seen this. I'm sure you have.
COVID vaccine tested on stopping the transmission of the virus before it entered the market. If not, please say it clearly. If yes, are you willing to share the data with this committee? And I really want a straight answer, yes or no, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
regarding the question around, did we know about stopping immunisation before it's entered the market? No. We had to really move at the speed of science to really understand what is taking place in the market. And from that point of view, we had to do everything at risk.
I'm going to stop that there. All right. I've worked in medicine. Okay. I have worked in a hospital. I've worked in family medicine. I've worked in small offices. I've worked with holistic medicine. I don't care what kind of medicine it is. You have to document every effing thing that you do. Everything you do is still science. It's still, you are literally, you put a vaccine in somebody, you're messing with the entire, their makeup, you're putting something. For them to come out and be like, we had no idea what was about to happen. You are messing with people's lives, literally their life, not just their livelihood, but their lives. And to be like, there were just certain risks. No. Because this isn't a mass trial. This isn't like, hey, everyone signed up for the trial without knowing. People counted on the government, the people of knowledge. You want to talk about, I've even considered going back into medicine. I've considered it. And for Soto, he knows what that means, is that if I go back into medicine, that means I've really thought about it. And that makes me scared to go in there, because that means, to me, someone that actually has to have medical treatment probably within the next year, I have lost faith in the medical field personally. And that says a lot, because I didn't have much to begin with after working in it. Nurses that have stood up for everything that they believe in and bringing awareness to this and talking about this, they've lost their jobs. Doctors have lost their jobs because of this, because they have said, no, it doesn't stop transmission. No, it doesn't do this. What they're saying, it doesn't do that. They have repeatedly tried to get that word out, and now they're just kind of laughing about it. Are you effing kidding me? This is unacceptable. And I am so fired up with this, because it irks me to see. I had friends. I had nurse friends that lost their job because they stood up against it. They were like, no, this isn't right. This goes against everything that you're taught when it comes to scientific method, right? So, what the actual, right? We're having teenagers, 17-year-olds, die from myocarditis. Healthy kids. So, this is why I say question everything. Question me. Go research it. Please, 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 please. I spent a year trying to do both sides of this, and these two things glare at me saying, keep talking, get the word out, because I cannot believe that this all transpired. And, it hurts my heart, because this whole situation, and no matter which side of the aisle you're on, it just is painful, and it really does just there are no words for how this was handled at all. This experiment gave them a brand new, never before seen strain of COVID-19. Was it more deadly? You bet. 100%. Yeah, see? Like, what the actual? Does it even reduce the effects? There's no proof of that either, I think. So I believe, if I've read all the studies, and I have read a ton of studies over all this, the people that benefit the most from any vaccine, are the 65 and up. Which I kind of have to, I giggle to myself with that too, because it's, a virus doesn't know how old you are, right? Like, but the generalized age, the geriatric age, is the ones who benefit, because they tend to have more health, problems and everything. So, breathing problems or cancers or, things that would put them at risk, it does tend to help them a little bit more. But even like they have the 5th booster, I think, coming out, and can't remember which European nation it was. My brain's kind of foggy on that one. But came out and said, like, if you are a healthy person under the age of like 40, there's no need. Kids do not need to get it. Like that, they're coming out, there's all kinds of countries coming out and saying like, no. Like the risk does not outweigh the reward, the benefit. So they're, start looking into this, because there are states, and this is actually a big reason, we thought about moving out of Florida. A big reason we're staying here is because our governor has been like, they're trying to make it to where all the schools, like, has to be a school mandated shot. And I don't agree with it. My daughter is fully vaccinated with everything else. Things that have had, 10, 15, 20 years of trials and documented evidence and everything else that we know work. This one I don't agree with. I don't. And so, the states that are like, you have to have your kid vaccinated against COVID for this. And I'm like, why? And so our governor here in Florida said, no, that's not going to be a thing. And so it was a big thing for us. Like, okay, we're just going to stay in here. There's a lot of personal reasons behind it. But that's just us, right? I'm never going to hide that from you. I will never bullshit you with when it comes to how I feel about it, because this just proved a lot to me on how I was seeing all of it. So with that being said, because California is one of them that was like, hey, we're going to mandate it. And so I have, a couple of our teammates live out there, and they have to think. They're thinking about what they have to do. So hopefully it gets overturned. But this, I'm not going to go political. I'm not going political. I'm saying this as a parent. As a parent to a 3-year-old. My daughter is 3. This is interesting. This bill that just got passed. I'm not reading all of it, but basically, you're not alone. 117,000 physicians quit in 2021. It's 10% of the total active MD-DO demographic. That should tell you something. COVID is not fully to blame either. I'll just leave it that there. Yeah, no, 100%. No, I mean, when you have that many medical personnel, nurses, MAs, phlebotomists, doctors, anybody on the spectrum here, saying enough is enough, it's not just because they're overworked, right? I mean, they were overworked and took for granted and everything else. There's something seriously wrong. There really is. There really is, guys. It's kind of unfathomable. But yeah, so this whole thing, again, Boston has, if you want to get on YouTube, I will not show them on this channel because you might actually see my head explode. But that they are doing, I have a whole thing on this, that they are doing, hysterectomies on 17, 18-year-olds, possibly younger. But they are talking about how gender reaffirming surgeries, where they can actually do that. Well, so whatever you believe, teach their own. I'm going to say that, teach their own. But when we start talking about hysterectomies, I'm 32 years old, guys. I'm 32. I'm not shy about my age. I'm 32, and it is very difficult for me, who has a medical reason to have a hysterectomy, because I have cysts that keep forming from this, and I have to go through medical doctor, overrides and, making sure like, hey, are you sure you don't want, to have kids and blah, blah, blah. I have my daughter. She is precious. And I'm so grateful for her. But we're now talking about my life here and my quality of life. And the fact that it's taking, they're still wanting to push until I'm 35. 35 to get a hysterectomy to help better the quality of my life and possibly save my life, because if I have to have any more surgeries, it could be very bad. They are now allowing this for 17 and 18-year-olds if they just say, I'm a boy. Women in some states have to get permission from their husbands to just get their tubes tied. But girls who say they're boys can just have it done. I'm going to leave that there because this isn't, a debate. I just want food for thought here. There is a very big problem happening right now. A very big problem. So with this, the legal refuge for transgender youth, this would say that if we lived in California with our 3-year-old daughter, and at some point she says, I'm a boy, I want to transition to being a boy, and we say, oh, no, you're not, they can actually take her. They can take the child from the parents. I'm not saying this to be confrontational or, politicizing or anything like this. But this is you don't just take children from their parents because they say one thing or another. You offer therapy. You get the child therapy. You get the parents therapy. You have a group think session. You do not just take a child. Yeah? Just a thought, California. What is going on? So then we have this. So this was this is what I wanted to clarify. Okay. So this law that was passed in 2020 pretty quietly. Okay. California is doing some funny things, guys. Love Florida. I was there not long ago. DeSantis has done a great job. He really has, Brian, I really do appreciate our governor. He's very just kind of straight and narrow. So this is in California. So this is where I will clear up a misconception, like I did with our state, with our parental rights bill. So this is being construed as that it is legal to how to say this politically correct. Me trying to be politically correct. It's not working. So this is being misconstrued as that pedophilia is legal in California. Okay, this is a very hard topic to bring onto Bull House, but this needs to be addressed because this is going to get out of hand very quickly, from what I'm seeing on YouTube. So this is being considered a pedophilia bill, allowing pedophilia. So what this actually does, it's still not right. I'm gonna just say this. I'm just gonna say this. If somebody is with it, okay, so the age of consent is 18 in California. Okay, that's the age of consent. Some states are 14, some are 16. We're not going to get into that. But what this is that if you have a 14 to 17-year-old that has consented to various acts, and the person was 10 years or younger than them. So you have a 14-year-old up to a 24-year-old, right? It's wrong on so many levels. Or 17-year-old to a 27-year-old. That's the age groups, right? The judge can decide if the person, the adult, the older person in this, is then having to register as a sex offender. That is what this bill does. They can still be charged and everything else with statutory rape and everything, but this needs to be clarified that the person is not getting away with the statutory rape for this. They are still being charged with it. It's just whether or not they have to actually register as a sex offender. That's the thing. And Granted, I do believe they still need to, because there's still something very mentally wrong with you if that's something. But this needs to be cleared up. This is still kind of wrong on a lot of levels. Like, it should just be like, you were charged with this, you need to be registered. But I wanted to bring to light. This is being misconstrued. So there's my fact check. There's my left fact check. There's my good thing for the day. This was actually a really cool thing. So why I keep saying these are my opinions. Making it known. Bullhouse is opinion based. Unless I'm quoting something that literally you will see me highlight in quotation marks, because that's how I'm just gonna do it now. Quotes. These cases right here, First Amendment, if it is on social media and it is your opinion, the Supreme Court has basically been like, you can't do it. You know, there's a big case right now with Alex Jones and defamation cases and things, and they just tried to get him for, I think, $2.2 or $3 some odd trillion, $2.75 trillion. Guys, that's higher than Canada's entire GDP. You're asking for the amount of money more than entire country's GDP from one person. That's not a thing. And so this is something that we'll be heavily leaning on for our channel. It's our opinion, unless I highlight and give the actual quote on the screen. So there's that. For those that have hung out with me this entire time, we're getting close to the end. I do have this. I talked about this show on Monday. It's called Industry. It's on HBO. I'm not showing anything bad. But I wanted to make it a note of this. So they talk about the 10-year yields. Okay. And the show was aired November 9th. So they were shooting the show in like 2019. Okay. So we go back to the 10-year yields, and we are talking about, in these time frames, right? It was going down, and now it's at 4.04. So that's a little bit, it went down a little bit in the last couple days. So, but it's still over this 4%. All right. So I will mute my mic. I will put this on for you. There's 2 different spots that we're going to be doing. They're about a minute, maybe 2 minutes each. So we'll be right back.
Saying everything's going to be okay over and over doesn't stop your house burning down around you, does it? Eventually, we shall be eating our pets.
Well, if that's your philosophy, you could trade it.
Extremely reasonable at twice the price. No, I'm being sarcastic. It is reassuringly expensive.
Buy an option on the US 10-year at 4%.
Yields haven't been there since before you were born.
Actually, since the early aughts.
Were you even sentient then?
Sorry, Nicole. Graduates don't normally pitch. Fuck that. Let her talk. With the president bulldozing the reputation of U.S. overseas,
For me, it follows that the administration will totally kill the rep of treasuries.
And pissing in China's mouth isn't going to help.
Exactly. Personally, I just think we're due an enormous sell-off.
We're low-key throwing ourselves in cold wars with all of our trading partners. China are the biggest global holder of U.S. paper. If they start dumping, yields will soar past 4%. If you think the house is burning down, this is how you monetize it.
Okay. So you guys caught that, yeah? So, I mean, again, 2019, we were kind of getting into some wars, but nothing like we're seeing now. Okay. So then I'm going to jump to 46. All right. So, last part.
Nicole, hi. It's Harper from Pierpoint. That option idea we talked about?
It was a fun night. Let's go for it in half a yard.
Rishi. Rishi. Rishi, I said your fucking name, dude. Can you price that option idea we talked about? Half yard?
No way. It's wingier than the fucking lottery. And how the hell have you got someone to buy an option on treasury yields hitting 4%?
I told her that eventually the US is going to war in the South China Sea. When they do, this pays out.
Alright, can do it in half her amount.
Nicole, can we do half?
No, you want to write my business, you fill me on my first order, in full.
2 secs. Need it in full. Can you help?
No fucking way, I can't price it without losing money. That's $500 million.
The client will not hear no, and I'm not interested in that either.
Offers 5 beeps.
Offers 5 basic points?
Too high, I'll pay 4 cents and up to 2.50. Work the balance for you.
Can't do 5. 4, please.
They're paying for your idea. Make them fucking pay.
4 cents. $0.04.
Because I'm excellent, 4 cents.
Do I just say done?
Half a yard done, 4 cents.
Half yard done. 4 cents.
Let's see where this takes us.
All right, so what crazy show is this? So this is the industry. Okay, this is what I'm showing you guys. So this episode aired November 9th of 2020. Okay, there was no sign of any of our yields, any treasury bonds, nothing hitting 4%. There was nothing like that. So is this predictive programming? Are they calling it? Because I will tell you this, if you guys watch the show, there's talks about Bitcoin. There's talks about the Bored Apes. There's talks about Doge and everything else, like all the meme stocks, they actually show super stonks. All of it, right? So is this calling it out and showing what's about to happen? Are they actually leaving that breadcrumb? An idea. Because there's 2 seasons out. They have a 3rd one on the way. I think it's supposed to be next year. Sorry, can you look into the 10-year treasury maturity minus 3-year treasury maturity? Apparently it's a little birdie on Powell's shoulder in relation. Yeah, I will definitely look into it for Monday. Cool. Let me write that down. Okay, yeah, I will definitely look into that, and I'll bring it up on Monday when we do that show. But yeah, so this is the show. I will warn you, if you do watch this, it's on HBO Max. Do not watch it with kids around. I'm just gonna say that. I mean, it's way too much. There's just too much. HBO is getting way out of hand with it. But the basic factor behind the show is very interesting, and how the market makers work and how they view retailers. It gets really kind of interesting. Yeah, not a problem, Citadel. Binge watched it. I think I binge watched it in a week. Easy to do when you have to fast forward through a half hour of the entire show. It's just nuts. But no, the group works in Europe and the European exchange. So there's that. So it's yeah, good show. If there's something I'm learning about a lot of this, is that they're leaving breadcrumbs. They don't care anymore. They know people are onto it. So it's just up to us to kind of dissect what's going on. So this is where I had this little Google search up too. So yeah, November 9th, it aired. So they were recording this in 2019, easy. Before the pandemic even hit. So yeah, the industry. Here you go, right here. Or sorry, industry. There's no the industry on HBO Max. Cover my dog's eyes. Good idea. 2 seasons, pretty good. I think you guys would like it. And then I also, if you do watch, I will plug this. This is not a paid plug. This is not supported or sponsored. But if you do want an interesting watch, Daily Wire, Matt Walsh had a docuseries or documentary type show called "What Is a Woman." I think you guys should definitely check that out too. Right, Jackson. Imagine how a few of our guests felt when they'd have to say, "No, it was very nice to talk to you, Citadel." It was always a very funny thing. Always a funny thing. So yeah, it's he's just such a troll. Appreciated troll, but such a troll. Alright guys. Friday we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna probably play some games or review some games. We're gonna it's gonna be a chill night. Probably be in our Discord, Isles Discord, actually. So I'll tweet that link out. It's kind of where we've been hanging out because that's where all of our gaming stuff is. Sound drop of Susan Trimbass saying the exact same thing. Yes, 100%. Yeah, we'll be in Isles Discord. It's kind of become my little hub. We'll play games, maybe we play some Jackbox, we'll live stream it, or Phasmophobia for the Halloween spirit, Fall Guys, whatever. It's gonna be a good night on Friday. We'll just have a lot of fun. Then Monday we're back to business as usual. So if there are any topics you want me to cover, again, please feel free to just, comment them down below, message me, whatever the case may be, and I will definitely look into them. But yeah, thanks for coming in, guys. I will catch you on Friday. Bye.